Did Tesla and Elon just confirm that NVIDIA is the greatest AI company of all? We'll take a closer look in today's episode and also take a closer look at some other things impacting this semiconductor giant like TSMC's recent earnings and some recent price target. So let's take a closer look in today's episode. All right, so first we have Wolf Research. They did initiate NVIDIA with an outperform rating and a $570 price target. We did see Susquehanna, I'm pretty sure I butchered the name. They did have a price target upgrade on NVIDIA to 575 from 450, maintain a positive rating. And we also see Barclays adjust their price target on NVIDIA to 600 from 500 and maintains an overweight rating. So we continue to see this bullish trend on NVIDIA and its overall stock price. I do believe for any investors investing right now, be very, very careful. The company has run up 220% year to date. Even though I am super bullish in NVIDIA, it is my number one position. I'm personally not investing at these levels. For you, the viewers, let me know in the comments below. Are you buying NVIDIA at these levels? What are your thoughts? Is it completely overvalued? Like I mentioned, for me, not something I would purchase right now, but also not something I'm selling out of my portfolio just yet. All right, so that's what we have for the price target. Next, I want to take a closer look at this report where AMD's CEO says that AI will grow exponentially in next 10 years, and they believe it's a huge market opportunity within 3 to 5 years of 150 billion US dollars. So overall, we can see a competitor from NVIDIA really showcasing the strength of the AI. If NVIDIA is truly the AI king, obviously they're going to dominate a good portion of that overall revenue. Not only does NVIDIA have kind of this GPU market unlocked. They just released CPUs, they have DPUs, they have networking solutions, they have infrastructure solution, they have software solutions for the overall kind of AI market. So I do believe NVIDIA, if this AI market is going to continue to grow at rapid levels, NVIDIA is going to be the one to grab the most market share from it. And I mean, AMD is not the only one that believes this is a huge growth opportunity. We can see numerous analysts have really increased their revenue expectations and estimates for NVIDIA in forms of revenue guidance. We can see in its most recent year, NVIDIA made roughly $27 billion in revenue. For this current fiscal year, NVIDIA is expected to make $43 billion. Next fiscal year, roughly $54.8 billion. And the year after that, roughly $69.4. So we can see analysts are estimating this company to see a huge growth in revenue, very similar to also earnings per share. Earnings per share in the most recent year was $1.76. For this current fiscal year, it's expected to jump up all the way to $7.90 roughly. Next fiscal year, $10.50. And the year after that, $13.33. So overall, we can definitely see that the AI market is becoming a huge growth opportunity for NVIDIA, and we can see a lot of these estimates that analysts are projecting. Now, we did hear TSMC report earnings, and unfortunately wasn't the greatest earnings for TSMC. They're still seeing a bit of a weakness in the consumer market, so we saw their revenue down. That's one of the things that's really lagging the semiconductor market. But what I want to talk a little bit more is what they mentioned about their AI demand and the AI market. But before we go any further, guys, if you are enjoying the episode, make sure to hit the thumbs up. I'm trying to hit 30,000 subs by the end of the year. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure to hit the sub as well. If you want to learn more about semiconductor markets, I do have a membership program for that, for my premium videos. And finally,
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
so here we can see a question was on TSMC's earnings call was, hey, how do you see demand for AI? And how can we kind of see if this demand is real or where we're going to go in the future? And TSMC pretty much said that right now we're pretty much seeing a lot of demand in the short term. But unfortunately, this kind of short-term line that we're seeing, we can't extrapolate that to really give a long-term view on how this AI market will grow, because things eventually could flatten out or the demand growth cannot be as high as it is right now. So right now, it's still in early innings, and they don't really want to be too optimistic on it. I do believe TSMC tends to be a little bit more on the conservative side, and they're just saying, hey, look, right now we're seeing a nice amount of demand, but that might be short-term lived. We don't know how we will grow from the overall long-term line of this AI space. There was another question, and I think this is something that NVIDIA investors should know about. One of the biggest things hurting NVIDIA right now is they're not able, they have too much demand, right? They have too much demand. Unfortunately, they don't have too much supply. One of the main reasons they don't don't have too much supply is there is this advanced packaging that is needed to kind of put all these chips together, especially for these advanced AI chips. And unfortunately, there is not enough capacity for that. And TSMC CEO mentioned that right now, overcapacity for advanced packaging is not a concern. Today's concern is not enough capacity to support all the very strong demand. So right now, it does seem like for at least the foreseeable future, they do not have enough capacity to support the demand. And I do believe this is going to be the biggest hurdle for Nvidia, where they will not be able to meet the demand they're seeing because they won't be able to get the supply. So that might be something Nvidia investors might be worried about. At the same time, today we did see this report that Nvidia is looking at Samsung for HBM3 memory and 2.5D chip packaging. So like I mentioned, one of the biggest bottlenecks for Nvidia right now is the advanced packaging. So they are looking at other players, Samsung, Amkor as well, and some other players out there in the advanced packaging. So hopefully they might be able to pick up or increase that supply a little bit. And something that maybe if you are a Samsung investor, you might be excited that TSMC is kind of not downfall, but just the overall demand is so high right now that Samsung can definitely benefit from it as well. So I think right now, that is definitely going to be the biggest hurdle. The first biggest hurdle is going to be, hey, how long is this AI demand going to stay here? And are analysts completely correct about these estimates for revenue for the upcoming quarter, for the upcoming years? The second thing is, will Nvidia be able to meet these expectations, or will they not, because of the kind of bottleneck that we're seeing in the manufacturing side? Now, the final thing I want to take a closer look at is Tesla. And I do believe Tesla and Nvidia are always put against each other as the top AI company, but maybe Tesla might have given up the towel and mentioned that Nvidia is pretty much the top AI player. First, for those that are not familiar, obviously Tesla is a huge AI company. And in next video, I want to take a closer look at Tesla and their supercomputer dojo. So if you are interested, make sure to hit the subscribe and make sure to check that video out. I might be releasing it later tonight or early tomorrow morning. But Tesla did mention the following. So they're saying that, hey, they're building this Dojo supercomputer. But outside of that, they're also using a lot and a lot of NVIDIA hardware. And they mentioned that they will actually take NVIDIA hardware as fast as NVIDIA will deliver it to us. He does mention that tremendous respect for Jensen and NVIDIA, and they've done an incredible job. And this is where Tesla, I believe, gives amazing props to NVIDIA and their AI hardware. He pretty much mentions that, hey, right now, if NVIDIA was able to deliver to us enough GPUs, he doesn't necessarily think they would need Dojo, right? I think that's insane. That one of the main reasons, unfortunately, that in Tesla had to go out there and kind of create their own Dojo supercomputers. One, they didn't want to be at the mercy of other semiconductor companies, and we can see that's the case right now, where NVIDIA's H100 and A100 GPUs, they can't get enough. Even big customers like Tesla cannot get enough. They said that they got so many customers, and unfortunately, they're trying to meet demand with all the players that they can, right? So I think that was a huge prop for NVIDIA and the overall strength of their hardware, right? Very rarely hear Elon really say nice things about other companies. And for him to say that, hey, look, if in theory, if NVIDIA was able to just ship us GPUs and we had all that we needed, we wouldn't have had to build our own kind of supercomputer. And I think that's one of the biggest props that any kind of company can give to another player. It also kind of just showcases how NVIDIA is definitely a top dog in this AI market. So overall, just that small part from Elon actually made me a little bit even more bullish on NVIDIA as a whole. Like I mentioned, I have no intention of buying anytime soon. I also have no intentions of selling. And like I mentioned, if you want to learn more about Dojo supercomputer and Tesla and their AI endeavors, make sure to check out the next video.